another session. This is part 4 of this video. Welcome back. Please, you must skip any part of this video if you must understand everything that we teach in this video, right? Now, the next thing you are going to everything that we taught in this video. Now, please, guys, what you need to do here is to see how you can understand principles that works. Here, we are going to be looking at addition and subtraction of surds. Yes, 2 or more surds can be subtracted, they can be added, and this is an aspect of surds that we termed what? Compound surds, right? Like I explained earlier, I said in compound surds, the operations that are being conducted there or that are being carried out there is what? Addition and subtraction of surds. So this is a compound surds. And like I explained before, that in compound surds, when you are given a compound surd, your expectation is to reduce the compound surds to its simplest simple surd, right? So how do we get that done? We are going to be solving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 problems under addition and subtraction of surd. Guys, you are going to like it because it's going to add values to your life. If you have been having issues with this before, please ensure you have focus. Like I said, always avoid distraction anytime you are watching the Master Builders videos or Master Builders tutorial classes, all right? So that you will not be disconnected from the flow of the what? Intellectual knowledge, right? Now, we are asked to evaluate root 32 plus 3 root 8. This is a compound surd. We have 2 surds added together. Now we are asked to simplify it. Of course, guys, this can be reduced to what? A simple surd. A simple surd is a surd like I explained where you have either root 2 or 2 root 2 or 2 root 3 like this. This is a simple surd. So everything here now we are asked to reduce everything here to any of these depending on the outcome. But it should be as simple as this where you will have only 1 square root or 2 square root when the factors are different depending on the case, alright? But in this case now let's see whether the end product will give us just 1 square root or 2 square root, but it must be in its least form, alright? Now this is solution. We have root 32 plus 3 root 8. Now guys, what do you do here? I have taught us before in the first category we looked at. So the first thing you do here is to first reduce, before you can add these 2 roots together, you must ensure that the square root here is 2 and the square root here is 2. Are you there? Yes. They must have, before you can add square root of 32 and the 3 root 8 together, you must ensure that they have the same figures inside the square root, their respective square root. So first of all, simplify them individually. Yes, the first thing you do is to simplify this individually, simplify this also individually, like case 1 that we looked at. Alright? So how do we simplify this individually? We said that of course this would have given us, we first of all divide 32, find the perfect square of 32. So how do we find out? We said 32 over 2, right? Now 32 divided by 2 will give us 16, and 16 times 2 would have given us what? 2 times 16 is 32. Now we will now check whether one of these values is a perfect square. If one of them is a perfect square, we quickly go with it. Is that correct? So 2 is not a perfect square, but 16 is a perfect square. Therefore, we are going to have this as 16 times 2. Let's be using brackets to separate the 2 fractions. Then this will have given us 3 root. Now 8 divided by the least number, which is 2, will have given us 4. Now 2 times 4 is 8, and 4 is a perfect square, right? So we are going to have this as 4 times 2. This is as simple as this. Then the next thing we are quickly going to do is to find the square root of 16. Understand that 16 is a perfect square, so being that this is another aspect, there is no need for us to elongate this. We are going to short this up. Guys, what is the square root of 16? Alright? Okay, now we are going to have this as square root of 16 times the square root of 2 plus open bracket 3 times the square root of 4 times the square root of 2. This is the explanation or the further simplification of this, alright? This is how to simplify this further. Now, what else do? We know that the square root of 16 is 4. This will have given us 4 root 2. Alright? Then plus 3 times the square root of 4 is 2 times root 2. Okay, guys, now at this point, what do? We now find the square root of 16, which would have given us 4 times root 2 plus 3 times the square root of 4 is 2 times root 2. Then here 4 times root 2 would have given us 4 root 2 plus 3 times 2 is 6. Alright? Now 6 times root 2 would have given us 6 root 2. Now at this point you discover that this term has root 2, this term also has root 2. That means I can factorize it. All I simply do is, now if this is root 2 and this is root 2, if I remove root 2 from here, I'm going to have 4. Plus if I remove root 2 from here, I'm going to have 6. All into root 2. Guys, hope this is got it. This is what you do. Just to factorize, all I just did here is simply to factorize this expression. And how do you factorize? Look out for the common term there. And the common term here is root 2. So when you remove root 2 from here, you have 4 left. When you remove root 2 from here, you have 6 left. You have 4 plus 6 root 2. Now, if I now say root 2 times 6, I'll have 6 root 2. Root 2 times 4, I have this back. Then the next thing is, I can now add this and this together. This will have given us what? 10 root 2. Now, if you still do not understand this, then when we get to the next question, I will also explain this in another form. Alright? Now that's it. To question number 2. Now, in question number 2, we are asked to evaluate 7 root 3 minus root 75. Guys, what do we do? For us to be able to subtract root 75 from this, then they must have something in common. So the best way to get what they have in common is to first reduce each of them to the least source. Are you there? So the best way to know what is common between this and, like I said, that before you can remove root 75 from the 7 root 3, there must be something common between them. And now we cannot see what is common. So the best way to see what is common, or to get to know what is common between the first term and the second term, is to first simplify them individually to their least source. And that's exactly what we are going to do here. So this is solution. This will have given us 7 root 3 minus root 75. Now, of course, we cannot reduce 3 further, but we can reduce 75. Now, what do we do to 75? We will come down and say 75 would have been what? To get the factor of 2 factors of 75, whereby one will be perfect square, we will start with 2. But of course, we know that 75 is not divisible by 2, so we go to 3. Now, when we come to 3, 75 divided by 3, guys, 75 divided by 3, we are going to have 25. 3 times 25 is 75. And between 3 and 7, between 25 and 3, one of them is a perfect square. 25 is a perfect square. That means I can use 3 and 25 as the perfect square for 75, right? So I'm going to have 7 root 3 minus root 25 times 3. You can decide to use brackets if you choose to. Now this will have given us 7 root 3 minus open bracket root 25 times root 3. Alright? Yes. Then what else do we do? At this point we are going to have 7 root 3 minus open bracket. The square root of 25 is 5. 5 times 5 is 25, right, guys? Then we are going to have 5 times root 3. Then automatically this will have given us 7 root 3. I can remove the square root now. Minus 5 root 3. Then the next thing we do, guys, here is at this point we can now get, we can get what is common between them. Now, root 3 is common between the first term and the second term. This is the ground to which, it is at this point we can remove the second term from the first term. So you need to simplify them to the least possible, then before you can connect them together. Now, at this point, what do we do? Root 3 is common to both terms, so I can decide to open the bracket and put root 3 here. Are you there, guys? So how do I get that? That's okay. The first term, which is 7 root 3, divided by the common term root 3. You know, I didn't do it in the first question. So this cancel, I didn't do it this way. And what is remaining? I'm going to have 7. Then minus, the next one is what? 5 root 3, divided by the common factor, root 3. And this cancel this, I'm going to have 5. It's as simple as this. Hope this is taken. Now, the next we do is when we remove 5 from 7, we are going to have 2 root 3. This is as simple as this. Now, guys, let's look at question number what? 3 at the board. Now, so very quickly, let's see how we can start looking at question number what? 3. Now, question number 3, we are asked to evaluate 3 root 48 minus root 75 plus 2 root 12. Now, like I said earlier, or like I do always explain, now, the first thing you will always do, like I said, please get it clear. The first thing you will always do here, before you can add 2 or more sources together, they must have something in common. And now, looking at the question, they do not have anything in common as we have it now. So what do? We must first of all simplify each of these sorts before we can get to know what is common between them. Yes, you must first simplify it to the least possible. Simplify each of these steps to the least possible before you can add or subtract. And how do we get that done? We are going to be using rule number 1. Now, this will have given us 3 root. Now, let's see how we can reduce 48. 48 over 2. Now, guys, you're going to have 48 divided by 2 will have given us what? 24. Now, between 24 and 2, there is no perfect square. Is that correct? So that means this cannot work it. Then I now have 48 divided by the next number is 3. And when I divide 48 by 3, I have 16. 3 times 16 is 48. And between 3 and 16, 1 is a perfect square. So I will go with 3 and 16. Then I'm going to have 16 times 3. It's as simple as this. Then minus, open bracket, root 75. Of course, we have done 75 before. 75 is what? 25 times 3. Then plus 2 roots. Now, what about 12? 12 would have given us 12 divided by 2 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. But neither 2 nor 6 is a perfect square. Then we move ahead to the next number. 12 divided by 3 will have given us what? 4. 4 times 3 is 12. And between 4 and 3, 1 is a perfect square, which happens to be 4. That means we are going to go with what? 3 and 4, not 2 and 6. 1 must be a perfect square. So we are going to have 4 times 3. Now, as you see, we already have 3 in common in all the square roots. Now, we are going to short this. This will have given us 3 times root 16 times root 3. For the first term, minus root 25 times root 3. Then plus 2 times root 4 times root 3. It's as simple as this, guys. Then what's the next thing we do? Please, when we get to question number 4, 5, and 6, we may not be solving it like this. We will skip some steps. Yes, we are just doing it now because this is the first stage, and we want you to get it before we start 40 steps. Before, if you keep doing all of this in exam, you will not be able to meet up with time, right? So we are just teaching you this concept now so that you understand it. By the time we digress into other aspects of it, we may not be showing all of these long steps. No, we just short it, all right? We cut about 2 or 3 steps and learn the solution. But I just want you to first of all get so that by the time we start using shortcuts where necessary, you will still be following us. Okay, now this would have given us 3. The square root of 16 is 4 times root 3. Then minus open bracket, the square root of 25 is 5 times root 3. Plus the square root of 4 is 2 times root 3. Square root of 4, 2. Square root of 25, 5. Square root of 16, 4. Now I can multiply this out. 3 times 4, guys, is 12. And 12 times root 3, root 4 must be obeyed. Now I'm going to have 12 root 3, not root 36. Because numbers without square roots cannot multiply numbers with square root, right? So it can only become a coefficient. Then 5 times root 3 is not going to give us root 15, but it's going to give us 5 root 3. Then finally 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 root 3. It's as simple as this. Now at this point we see that these 3 terms now have something in common. And what do they have in common, guys? Let me check it out. Check it out. What do they have in common? They have root 3 in common. So we are going to factorize. Now at this point, I'm going to open a bracket, open another bracket, then put root 3 outside here. Now if I divide 12 root 3, the first term divided by this root 3 that is common, root 3 cancel root 3, I'm going to have 12. Then this sign minus. Then the next one is what? 5 root 3 still divided by what? Root 3. Root 3 cancel root 3, we are going to have 5. Then plus 4 root 3, which happens to be the last term, divided by the common term. Root 3 cancel root 3, guys, we are going to have 4. This is as simple as it is. Simple as ABC. Now, guys, what do we do next? We are simply going to remove 5 from 12 and add 4 to the outcome. Right? So, if I remove 5 from 12, guys, I'm going to have 7. And 7 plus 4, I'm going to have 11. Or, I can decide to say, okay, 12 plus 4. That will give me 16. And 16 minus 5, that will give us 11. Or, you can just use your calculator. You will get 11 root 3. Then, our final answer here becomes 11 root 3. This is the answer to this question. Guys, you see how simple it is. Just slide down to the description below and you will find the link to the next video, which is a continuation of addition and subtraction under compound sum. Like this video, share this video, and comment on this video to know where and where to improve on. See you guys in the next video. Love you all. Thanks.